Have you ever heard terms like C of O, governor's consent, gazette, or deed of assignment, and then you've wondered what these are? Well, you're not alone. A lot of persons have this issue, and that is why we are here to talk about land documents in real estate in this episode of Real Estate IQ. I'm your host, Ejiku Sharon Ibinabo, and today we will be breaking down land titles and documents every land buyer or every landowner needs to know before making any payment. Let's get started. So the first question I have on my list here is, what exactly is a Certificate of Occupancy, C of O, and why is it important? A Certificate of Occupancy, commonly called a C of O, is a government-issued document, an official document that is issued by the government to an individual that proves ownership of a particular property. It confirms your legal right to occupy and develop that particular property. So think of it as one of the strongest proofs that this property is yours and is given by the government, because the Land Act used states that every land belongs to the government. So when a land has a C of O, it means that the government has seen you. It's a proof that the government has given you the right to own, to occupy that piece of land for a period of years. Now, a certificate of occupancy, the document has a period of years where you have to go and renew it. So it's a maximum of 99 years. Then once that 99 years elapses, you go back to the government and renew it to get a new one, a new certificate of occupancy. So a C of O is very important because it gives buyers confidence. It makes it easier to process loans as collateral, like for some persons that want to take loans on collateral. So it makes it easier. It's an added advantage. It's the strongest proof of documentation in real estate. So it increases the property's value, yes, and it reduces the chance of dispute on that land. That is why the C of O is very important. However, having a C of O on the property does not mean that the property is free from problems. No, it does not automatically mean that it's free from problems. But then you should still carry out proper documentation, proper research, proper findings about this property before you buy. You verify properly. So that's the first question I have. Many persons think that once they have a land or once they buy a land with C of O, that's all. But that's not true. There's actually another thing to do. The governor's consent is simply the approval of the government for the owner of this property that has a C of O to transfer it to the next person. Like I said earlier, the C of O is an official document that is given by the government for an individual or a company to have the right to occupy a piece of land. So if a land that has C of O, any person that wants to sell a land that has C of O needs to have a governor's consent to sell that land. Let me use a very clear example. I have a phone and I gave it to my friend. Now this friend has been using the phone for 1 month and then she wants to sell the phone. She cannot just go and sell that phone just like that, because I did not dash her my phone. I just gave her the right to be using my phone. So whenever she wants to sell that phone, she has to come to me for my consent, and then I'll give her my consent and she can sell the phone. So the governor's consent is actually an official document. So whenever you're buying a land that has a C of O, you ask for the governor's consent. So without it, the transfer may not be fully completed, because that governor's consent is very important when you're buying or selling a property that has a C of O. Okay, these documents actually work together, but they serve different purposes. The first one, a survey plan. A survey plan shows the exact location, the size, and boundaries of that land. A survey plan shows the size, if it's one plot, if it's more than one plot, it shows the exact size, it shows the exact location of that land, if it's in Obiako, if it's in Ikwe local government, those kind of things. Then it will show the boundaries of that land. Then the deed of assignment is an agreement that transfers ownership from the seller to the buyer. There's a deed of conveyance and a deed of assignment. So the deed of assignment, that's works when there is a C of O in that on that property. But a deed of conveyance works when there is no C of O for that property. So they are similar. A deed of assignment shows that there's a transfer from the buyer to the seller of that property. While a certificate of occupancy is an official document that is given by the government to the owner of the property to show that the individual, the person that owns this land, has the right to occupy that piece of property for a maximum of 99 years, and then you now renew the document. So the next one here is governor's consent. So the governor's consent works with C of O. It's the government approval for an individual to transfer or to sell a land that has a C of O. Let's think of it this way. The survey plan identifies the land. The deed of conveyance records the sale. The C of O confirms ownership. Then the governor's consent approves the transfer of that ownership from person A to person B. The answer to this question is no, they are not the same. A gazette is a government publication that shows that certain lands have been excised from government acquisition and has been released to a community or an individual or a family. There is a portion of land, and then the government says this place now is just for the government, is just for the government acquisition, government infrastructure. And then when a piece of that large area of land has been taken out, that's a gazette. Yes, it shows that this particular place has been taken out from that government acquisition, so it's free from government encumbrances. So it shows that certain lands have been excised from government acquisition. Then a C of O, on the other hand, is issued to an individual landowner, while the gazette shows that certain land has been removed from the government acquisition and handed over to communities or a family, while a C of O is for individual owners. While land covered by a gazette can be a good sign, you may still need to process your own C of O or other title documents after purchase. So before making payments, you should always ask for key documents that are for that property, that relate to the property. So these documents may include the survey plan, the deed of conveyance or deed of assignment, the C of O, the gazette or governor's consent if available and where applicable, so that the seller has evidence to show that he or she has a legal right to sell that property to you. So most importantly, don't just collect documents, verify these documents. Have a qualified lawyer and a qualified surveyor to go through these documents to show that they are authentic before you make any payment, so that you will not lose money to real estate scams or bad titles. The thing is, yes, you can, but you need to be very, very, very careful. The deed of assignment records the transfer of ownership between the both parties, between the buyer and the seller, while a purchase receipt only shows that money changed hands, while the deed of assignment records the transfer of ownership between the both parties. So neither document alone confirm that the land itself is a valid government title. So before buying such land, carry out proper verification on the document, know the status of the land, where the title can, and whether the title can be perfected later. There are no fixed timelines. However, When it comes to documents like the deed of conveyance or the deed of assignment, when it comes to the deed, it depends on the real estate company. Like if you're buying from a real estate company, there's a specific timeline to that. Like like here at Tengo Properties, we give our clients 14 working days for their tax documents, as the deed, the survey plan, to be available. However, when it comes to the certificate of occupancy, which is issued by the government, there is no specified timeline to that because that's from the government. But when it comes to documents like the deed or deed of conveyance, deed of assignment, the survey plan, it shouldn't take more than 14 working days to perfect that title. Now, this is a serious red flag, a very, very serious red flag. A genuine property shouldn't have multiple conflicting documents covering the same interest. So if you notice that this property has so many conflicting documents, just stop that transaction. Don't go any further so that you not lose your money and start going for court cases and things that will make you lose energy, lose money. No, the whole issue should be investigated properly. Your lawyer, that's why it's very, very important that you have a lawyer when it comes to real estate. And if you're buying from a real estate company, you can actually ask for a lawyer from the real estate company. Yes, so your lawyer should verify the records at the relevant land registry so that you do not have any disputes later in time. The answer to this question is yes. So the basic principles of land ownership are similar across Nigeria, but each state has its own land administration system and procedures. For example, Lagos has processes involving documents like the Gazette, decision, the deed, the C of O, governor's consent that buyers frequently encounter. While in other states like Rivers State, including Port Harcourt, the procedures and the documentations may differ. So that's why it's important to understand the requirement in specific states. For example, the land size also differs across Nigeria. In Port Harcourt or Rivers State, it's 450 square meters. In some other states, it's 600 square meters for a plot of land. So those details, it differs across Nigeria. However, the ownership procedure is very, very similar. Excision is a process where the government officially releases a portion of land that was under government acquisition. They release it back to indigenous communities. When land has a valid excision, it shows that that area has been legally put in place for individuals and indigenous communities to have a piece of that property that was already in government acquisition. When the government has a piece, like a large piece of land where they keep for future purposes, so when they take out a portion of that land and return it back to the indigenous community, it's now allowed for private individuals, the community, to take back the land, to start selling, and for people to stay in those locations. So excision is not actually the same as owning the land personally. So after purchasing a land that has been excised, it's very important that you process your documents like the C of O, the deed, and governor's consent where applicable. So always verify that the excision is genuine before buying. Understanding land documents can save you a lot of money and stress, and it can save you from unexpected mistakes. Before buying any property, it is very, very crucial that you verify the documents that come with this property. Don't just rely on assumptions. You should always verify the documents that come with the property. Ask questions. When you're not clear on something, always ask questions. Involve a lawyer, involve a qualified lawyer and a qualified surveyor to go through these documents for you. If you found this episode very helpful, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video, share it with one or two persons who have asked you questions that concern today's topic. Don't forget to like, share, drop your questions in the comment section, and on our next video, we will be answering those questions. Don't forget to join us next week as we continue to make you have smarter real estate experiences. Don't forget, this is Real Estate IQ, and I'm your host, Ejik Sharon Ibinago. See you on our next episode.